Well, hello there, guys. This is the first time I'm going live, if anyone's watching. So I'm just going to do this video stream as though it is live and as though people are watching. So we're covering Bitcoin, and we're going to have a look at a few other video stream as though it is live and so we're going to look at some crypto, going to look at Cardano, going to look at Ethereum, Binance, and if anyone shows up, then I'll feel free to ask me to look at something else. That's no problem. And this is just pretty much just a test run, basically, so we can get started. What I'm going to do is we'll go over to screen share, and I'm going to go to here. And I'm also going to check this. It's probably on a bit of a delay. Yep, so that works. All right, so we're looking at Bitcoin, guys. I have the US price over this side. I have a list of other things that I look at as well. And we're starting with Bitcoin on the daily. It's been working in this channel. There's been a lot of FUD and FOMO over the last week, the last few weeks probably. Everyone thinking it's going to crash down this way and it's going to pop up that way, and they can't. Suddenly it takes off, and some of these big YouTubers can't figure out why it's going one way or the other. All very simple. I use the stochastic RSI, and I have some certain settings here that I've kind of found are pretty close to matching the movement of the price itself. Now, normally these are lagging indicators, so you can't see. It's not telling you ahead of time where it's going to go. But if you get used to it, it does tell you ahead of time. So you can see that at this point around here, it was really overbought on the daily. But these things can take some time to turn. So if you have a look here from this candle, 20th of February, candle here, it's a whole day. So in that little bit of time here, when you go down on the smaller time scales, you can start to, I have to go back now. You can see that there was actually quite a fair bit of movement in this range here. So there's 6 candles for a daily candle. 6 fours are 24. So there was quite a fair bit of action in this area and in this area here before it really sort of started moving down. And if you have a look at some of my other videos, I have talked a little bit about how the indicator timeframes and oscillators work. And because they're oscillators, I'm used to working with oscillators a bit. I'm a sound engineer by trade, technically. So these are a little bit more sketchy and dynamic, but everything moves in waves essentially, and so you have lower time frames that are moving much faster, and they affect higher time frames and higher time frames after that. So as you work on each different time frame, if you're a trader, you'll be working on a few different frames. If you're an investor, you'll probably just be looking at the weekly, maybe the daily, but more likely the weekly and the monthly charts, okay? So essentially, I've kind of tried some settings in my stochastic RSI that give me a pretty good indication of when things are going to drop, and I can sort of get in and out of the market a little bit sort of before things get really too shocking. So like I was, when we go to Ethereum, I can tell you I was around this point when I knew she was starting to really come down. So I jumped out of my Ethereum, took my profit, and it came soaring right down here. I held onto it for a little bit. I rode this up, and then took my profit again, and it fell right down here. When it got to this point the other day, I bought back in, and I took it right up to about here, and then I took some profit around this area here. But this is on Ethereum. This one's Bitcoin. We're looking at Bitcoin. But when I was on Ethereum, they both have a very similar price action in their candles. So I know sort of where I was at that time. So where are we going with Bitcoin? Well, I'm waiting for the 4-hourly stochastic to sort of work its way down. I don't know how how fast you could sort of come down before it starts turning up. Yesterday, it was on the 1 hourly when I thought, great, the 4 hours going to come down. When I came out, I saw the 1 hourly was sort of down here and starting to make a move back up. I'm thinking, okay, it's going to push the 4 hourly sort of back up and keep it from really dropping down hard. What's happened since is that the 1 hourly has really sort of petered out in volume. People are getting a little bit uncertain, getting a little bit cautious of where the price is going. I'm just going to quickly back, see if we get anyone here. Whoops. On my screen. Okay, go to this one. There we go. Okay, so I'm just jumping back through these. And essentially, I saw this price sort of coming down, and but not coming down hard. So there's a lot of people a little bit confused about price action, where it's going to be going, and then deal, that kind of deal. They're not sure if it's going to have another push up, if Bitcoin's going to start dropping off, if people are losing faith in this pump. So we'll go back to the 4 hour, and we can see that on the 1 hour and the 4 hour, it's now starting to work its way down and start to have a bit more of a sell-off. I think we might come into this range again and use this as a bit of support around the 50,000 and this line here at the bottom of the channel. Okay, so Bitcoin has been creating this channel. It's been working in this region for a while. It's still an ascending channel. It's still going up. Price is still working its way up. Getting a lot of, I suppose, building up a lot of resistance in this region. Between your sort of 45 and say 52 sort of $1,000 region, even if you want to go up to here. So I think longer term that is a bit of a positive thing for Bitcoin. I don't see at this point in time that it's going to be taking any great big dumps. It's had one there. It's had a recent one here. I think it's going to consolidate a little bit longer, but yeah, if it was a day or two ago, I was going to do a video and just say, look, there's a big pump coming for Bitcoin. But let's go to the daily and see what we're facing on the daily here. Okay. So on our daily, we've hit the bottom, we've had this pump, and now she's kind of trying to determine where it's going. I think it's going to sort of drop down again, and we could be creating, you've probably heard people talk about this W pattern being around for a while. When you get a W, it's a W for win, so that's kind of what they say, or you can get M patterns, which are M for misery, but this is looking like it could start to form a bit of a W pattern here. Down this way, and then sort of up more like this. So this is where we could be headed on the daily. There's still plenty of time. I think the 4 hour and the 1 hour, all this selling off at the moment is just going to push this over a little bit, and then it might come up more for a bit of a run. Okay, now don't worry too much about this time frame. It's a daily time frame, so we'll have to have a look. But I think generally speaking, Bitcoin's still I think it's still finding its feet. It's finding where it wants to sort of get that rest period and then really shoot off, if it's going to shoot off. So daily, still quite a lot of time on the daily for us to get some pumps. If we go to the weekly, let's go high time frame. Okay, weekly, it is lining up here. I'm just going to get rid of this. The weekly is lining up and starting to build up for a return to cross back over into more of a buying pattern and more of a harder drive to be more bullish, really. You have to, like I said, got to excuse me, guys. This is my first live stream ever that I've ever done, so I'm just sort of taking it as if I'm doing a recording, but I can't edit this one. So as we see on the stochastic, it's really been working down. Everyone was talking about this divergence that it's been on for quite some time, but we've seen that even when you have this divergence, it's not as strong as people think they could be. So Bitcoin just kept pushing up, and this is at the sort of the end of this first real big pump up to the top. had a bit of a sell-off, and probably some of the newbies are really freaking out about this kind of sell. If you want to freak out about a sell, I'll show you what to freak out about. When you get Bitcoin, if I can find it, I might have to go to monthly. Some of the weekly here. I'll have to go to monthly. What's going on here? It's not doing it. Okay. Let me get to there. When you're up here, up around the last high, this is when we're at the last high, and you're sitting in Bitcoin and you're feeling pretty good, and then it drops from like 19,000 down to 5,000, that's usually when you're really feeling pretty terrible and really upset. But what we've had here, look over here, we just had this tiny little blip, and everyone's freaking out, and all the photos coming out, and all the FUDs coming out. And guys, you know, there's absolutely no need for that, as you can see, because look at this. It went from 20,000 right down to 3. Okay, so it's like a 97% reduction or drop. You know, now a lot of people are thinking that could happen again. There is a belief that everything's different this time. We've got a lot of the big economy guys moving in, all this sort of thing. And that's true, and that will continue to happen. It might be a bit more spread out. The big concern I've been talking about probably for the last 2 weeks is on the monthly. Okay, this is a bit of a concern. It still kind of worries me a little bit. We're really at a top point here of our most recent boom. Okay, my ribbon's gone for some reason. Where's my ribbon gone? Never mind. So it's really sort of in an overbought sort of territory, both in the price action and on the stochastic. So, yeah, we're starting to get these big sell bars. A lot of people think it's going to drop back down. I don't think it will, because what could be happening is what happened back in 2012, if we go on, 2017. If you have a look here, we had this big run up, and we'll have a look at what kind of size that was. If we take it just from the bottom, we'll take it from the bottom of the week and pump up to say 13. That's 480% that went up. Okay, 480% from the bottom of this wick at $160 to about the $900 mark, $1,000 mark. So it was a 480% rise. Huge. And then it took off. It then went 20x from this $900, $1,000 mark. We could be one. Okay. We've had our 9, it's continued up to a 13 count. I think we could be having a similar response. I think we might get maybe 2 candles down over the next month at some point. We might get a cool off. And then she's going to take off for its big run to maybe, where are we at? Maybe the $300,000, maybe even more. It could very well go far above this range, but let's just call it here, the 300. That's sort of what everyone's sort of saying. 350. I'll bring it down a little bit. 260. Let's call it 250,000 thereabouts. So we could get a couple of candles down to sell off, and then a final boost up to here. Looking at the way things are going with this weekly, if we go back to the weekly, this is really strong. And if we get a positive run and this really sort of fulfills its destiny, I suppose, and it really starts sort of taking off and building back up here. These buttons keep getting in the way, so I can't draw what I like to draw. There it is. Oh yeah. So I'll move this over. If we get that kind of thing again, that straight sort of ascending thing again, I mean, that runs us right into sort of July this year. Let's bring it over a little bit more. I think it could be a bit of a slow run up, maybe a bit more angle and things, but you get what I'm saying. You get my point. Okay. So at the end of the day, guys, I think, Bitcoin may stay in this channel a little bit longer. It might work its way up again here and just stay in this channel and then start to maybe have a pop. So I think May is going to be a very interesting time for Bitcoin. There are some signs that it's going to run stronger. There's a few theories and ideas that I do have that I'm giving you the very basics of it now, that we are going to run up more and go from there. Okay, so we could be seeing a very big run up on Bitcoin. There's just a couple of factors we have to let play out. You know what I mean? There's also a lot of factors in the market. You've got your FOMO, your FUD, you've got your whales and all sorts of other things going on. But I really wouldn't pay too much attention to that. If you're an investor and you just bought Bitcoin and hold it, guys, just hold it. If you're really worried, and you've sort of been holding Bitcoin from down here and you've made all this sort of in profit and you're really, really worried that it's going to looking like it's going to drop, if it's breaking this range here, 37, and you want to dump your holdings for a little bit, that might be an area that you could probably consider, but you'd want to really make a lot of measurements before you make that decision. You should never really end your hodl position, okay? You should always just hold it, add to it, never let go, because Bitcoin is going to get very hard to get in the future. So the more you can hold it now and just hold on to it, you will be better off. Okay, you should really think before you end and quit your hodl position. Okay, so I'm just going to jump back here and just check. That's still going on. That's all right. Okay. So let's go to Ethereum. Ethereum has been on this massive run. Here we go, and here's an example of what I was talking about with Bitcoin. It's hit the 9 count. If you know the TD sequential, you know what I'm talking about here. If you don't know TD sequential, it's quite a complicated tool to use, or indicator, and I don't really have a lot of time to explain it here. But go look it up, have a look how it works, and it's pretty good. When you combine it with other tools, it sort of helps you get a little bit more of a accurate view on where you want to maybe enter and leave a market. So we've had this big run up. It's concluded its countdown. It's had a sell-off, and it's basically just restarted a new count. Okay, on the weekly, plenty of time and space to move up. If we go down to the daily, kind of starting to buckle under the pressure, all this selling on the 1 hour and the 4 hour. So I'll probably wait just a little bit. I'm expecting this to maybe sort of come down to the $2,400 mark, may even come down lower and sort of touch the bottom of this channel here. It's broken out of the previous triangle and now creating this ascending channel. I think once it comes out of this last loop, hits here, we could see a sharp rise up, probably around them. I think May is going to be a very interesting month. There's a big chance that it could be a very bullish month, but again, we just sort of have to wait and see. I think it's going to be quite bullish based on the indicators and what I'm seeing in the price. There's been a lot of sort of sell-offs and cool-off periods, pullbacks and things that have allowed the price to continue to go up. And this is really, really healthy when you get these kind of good sell-offs. They're not too drastic, but they're just enough. They keep the price in the channel. They keep selling, then there's allows for more buying pressure to come in. And the price just continues to have a good steady rise for a longer period of time. And that's much better than it just going from here to suddenly all the way off the charts, You're going to maintain your price better there. Okay. Or a price better there. So if we go to the 4 hour, 4 hours definitely overbought. It's sort of heading to the top of the channel here that I've drawn here. We'll raise that up a little bit. Yeah. So really fighting against the top of the channel there, but now she's starting to cool off. And, we got one sort of bit of resistance around this area and another around here, which by the time it gets to there would be the 2294, so 2300 US, which would probably be around the 3,000 Australian dollar mark. So keep your eye on Ethereum. funny thing. It might just sort of cool off here and then hit down, and then I think we could be expecting a bit more of an up there. Okay, both the monthly and the weekly are very strong for Bitcoin, Ethereum, on the price sort of continuing to chug on up. Okay, I don't think it's going to 27,000 like some people have claimed. I think that's completely stupid. But we could definitely, I'm keeping my eye on the $4,000 mark US. Okay, go back to this thing. So this is my marker price that I'm looking at here, 4,000. Just a little bit under. I think that's definitely reasonable that we could reach that goal pretty soon, maybe even in May, June, something like that. As long as price just keeps on chugging along nicely, and we keep getting those nice sort of sell-offs and then good entries and buy-ins. I'm looking for the price to hit that. And the way that I work the trades is you have a smaller target. Don't have a target of 27,000. It's just impossible to reach. Have a target of $4,000 or $5,000. Say, yep, that's looking like a good area where I could sort of see the price getting to. You know what I mean? And you do the same for each coin. Okay. On the 1 hour, just quickly. So 1 hour is selling off, quite a bit of pressure there. When you go into short positions, well, you've got to kind of be careful when you go into shorts, especially on Bitcoin or cryptos in general, because they do have a tendency to just sort of deceive you and pull you into a trade and then suddenly rock back the other way and really kill you. I don't do leverage trading anymore. I used to quite a bit, but I've found that the exchanges are just full of very erratic people who freak out at the smallest thing. So, and you get these big swift moves all over the place, and it's not conducive. I've had far more success and far more profit than trading without leverage than I have with leverage. Okay, so that's Ethereum. Let's go have a look at Binance here. So Binance, let's go back up to the higher time frame. I'll go to the daily on this one. So still plenty of room for it to move in the daily. It's looking pretty good, all up. Binance is really taking its time very carefully and very nicely. Yes, it's found its sort of support around this region a little while ago. Then you had this sort of pullback area. Let's come up here. That probably would have given a few people a fright, but the trend generally breaks out of a triangle. The trend follows the previous trend. So if you've had a big run up, it's more than likely that it's actually going to have another big run up, especially when you look here. Here's something that can back you up. When you're looking on the daily, you've found that, it's quite oversold. And not a lot of sort of volume there, but it's still sort of competing and staying in. And another big indicator is when you're seeing the price of a coin or a stock really pushing hard against this wall. They're three pretty good indicators that the price is going to really sort of shoot off and break in a positive way out of the triangle. It's less likely to break down. Okay. So it's kind of had another big run up. It's starting to consolidate yet again, okay, into this pattern. But I think this is a bit more of a channel now than it is a triangle. Okay, so it's consolidating. It's finding its feet, finding its strength. It is in a pretty positive position of strength. Let's have a quick look on the weekly. Weekly is a little bit doubtful. It has had a big push up though, as we've seen. It started its new count cycle through its candles to keep moving that price up. But should we go to the 4 hour? Let's have a look what's happening on the 4 hour. Okay, so not as much strength. Still is in this channel for sure. Now that we're on the 4 hour, you could sort of put it like that if you want to. But there's also this sort of thing happening. And a in triangle. This is on a lower time frame, but there is this, ascending triangle starting to form. I don't know if it's going to make it. We might get another little sort of push up to challenge this sort of high up here. Let's bring this down a little bit. But usually when you see these two sort of indicators curling up, when one's under the other, and the D is under the K, it's missing a lot of strength, and you can see that in the volume as well. It's just missing that sort of strength to give it that big push up. It's more likely that it's going to sort of come here and then just sort of keep falling down, and you'll probably see this on the 1 hour if we have a look. So the 1 hour is still pretty strong, but it's getting towards the end of its sort of peak, which, as I was saying before, likely to get maybe another sort of try to touch the top here, and it's probably going to cool off a little bit. Okay, 3 hour, yeah, you're seeing the same kind of thing. So we might get a little bit more of a push up to challenge these previous areas, and it's probably just going to sort of cool off a little bit, run into this region here, and when it's ready, it's going to take another run. But on the daily, as we looked before, there is still quite a lot of that power to really boost the coin off, but probably not right now. Maybe a little bit further into May. Okay. Oh, we'll have a look at Dogecoin, I suppose. Everyone likes Dogecoin at the moment. I did one trade on it for like a day, made a few bucks, and got out. I just don't want to trade this thing. But if you want to, that's fine. Okay, so a lot of overbought, element on the 4 hour. We go to the daily. Again, kind of showing what a lot of the other cryptos are showing. We're seeing the similar patterns throughout. You know, you've got the stochastic showing as good, strong move into next month. Okay, we're coming towards the end of April, 30 days in April, so we've got 2 days left. Might see a bit of a rally towards the end, but I think it'll peter off a little bit towards the next 2 days. And then as we enter May, I think by the 3rd of May, we might start seeing a really nice big run up. Even the 2nd of May, we might start seeing that big run up, okay, that we've all sort of been looking at here. It just depends how these coins and the whole market sort of reacts to the 4 hourly. I think there's another 12 hours of maybe sort of selling off before we sort of see any big moves to challenge previous all-time highs. I hope that makes sense. We'll have a quick look at XRP, have a look at all these shitty coins. Look, there's nothing wrong with actually trading shit coins. I don't support any of the projects that they do. I couldn't care less. My goal is to make money out of these coins and the movements that they're making in the market. You know, that's, for me, that's what trading is. I don't really give a shit what what a project is. I just care about where the price is going. All right. And is there an opportunity? What's the risk to getting in? Is there more likely to be upside, or is it going to consolidate longer? These are things I just sort of consider. Okay, so looking at the daily on XRP, again, daily strong. XRP has a reputation, but, you know, again, it's running up pretty strong here, and I think it's going to continue up. I'm expecting XRP to make a run to the $4 mark. All right, around here. That's where that's my target. I'm expecting XRP to go. Okay, and based on this, there's quite a bit of strength. We might see a sort of drop back. Yeah, it'd be a big drop back to here, but I don't think it'd go that far. But there is a lot of support around this region. That's where it just last broke out, and you can see across the top here. It's sort of its last breakout area was in this region. Okay. So it's had a nice big sort of breakout and run up. It's cooled right off. Almost anyone who's sort of got this profit here and has stayed in has pretty much lost most of their profit. But I'm expecting this to sort of stay on trajectory, a little bit more of a pullback, probably settle down around here. I don't think it's going to come back to the trend line that quickly. I think there's more momentum to go up. So we'll have to just keep an eye on it. I think it might start making a steady climb to there. So next marker is probably $2.40, $2.60 mark. If it can break the all-time high, it's probably where it's going. And then to about the $4 mark. That's where I see XRP going for the next month or so. Okay, so I'm going to leave it at that. It's just been a quick stream. This is a bit of a test, running through, seeing how the things go. I'm just going to come back to, there we are. Come back to me. Look, no views or anything, but that's okay. I've just been getting used to this and trying it out. If you do see this, please subscribe to Bitcoin Bankers. Give us a like, give us a click, and so forth. And I just wanted to try this out, see how it went, and I guess we'll take it from there. I might just do some other normal videos, and I'll just start playing around with this and see how we go. So thanks for watching. See you next time, and please like, subscribe. Cheers.